Hey everyone, I've recently felt the need to hire some freelancers for a few tasks that I can't handle myself. And since everyone seems to always talk about Upwork and Toptal when it comes to that, I thought I'd give them both a try. My experiences on each platform were pretty interesting, so I decided to make a review comparing their pros and cons. Stay tuned while I tell you everything you need to know in this freelancer platform showdown. First things first, let's compare the pricing. Buyers have to pay service charges just like freelancers pay these platform commissions on their earnings. I have to hand it to Upwork. It's super transparent about its charges. Granted, these charges have gone up a bit in recent years, but I still feel like it's one of the most affordable platforms out there, at least for the clients. So Upwork used to charge 3% on all transactions, but now you have to pay a 5% service charge. That's pretty reasonable, but there was one charge that I didn't expect. Basically, each new contract incurs a $4.95 fee, which can be a pretty big chunk of change if the project itself costs $100 or so. It's less of an issue for higher paying projects, so I'm not too annoyed by it, although it does seem to be an extra charge that some of you might not anticipate. But if you think that's bad, Toptal's charges are going to annoy you to no end. That's because this platform is extremely opaque about its services fees. When I tried to hire a freelancer, I saw that the charges were $150 an hour. The only problem was Toptal's service charges were already incorporated into the final amount. So I had no idea how much cash was going to the freelancer and how much was going to the platform itself. Like at least on Upwork, I can see exactly how much the freelancer is charging. That's a level of transparency that helps me trust the platform a lot more. I get that Toptal is all about offering premium services, but even so, this seems to be a bad way to do it. Oh, and I haven't even mentioned the deposit you have to make before you can even hire somebody. Yeah, you heard that right. Toptal requires clients to deposit $500 as soon as you set up the account. That's even more frustrating when you realize that they basically don't charge freelancers a penny. All their revenue comes from us clients. So in a way, you're paying about as much as you would in a traditional employment setting. Toptal says that the deposit will be returned to you if you're not satisfied after a so-called risk-free trial period that lasts 2 weeks, but even so, plenty of buyers I've spoken to have said that the trial period expired after just a day or two because they selected short-term projects. From where I'm sitting, Toptal is a platform geared towards helping freelancers get the best experience possible. I'm all for that, but it does tend to make it a bit of a hostile platform for clients, at least from a pricing point of view. That's why I'm giving Toptal a 2 out of 5 here, whereas Upwork gets a 4 out of 5. Now, with all of that said, pricing isn't the only thing we need to consider. Quality of work is also a huge factor in determining the kind of experience you'll have. Does Toptal have that kind of talent that justify its high pricing? I mean, you'll be paying potentially $70 to $150 per hour to hire someone off of the platform, so you have to consider if it's even worth it. Let's move on to my quality of work assessment to find out. Okay, so right off the bat, Toptal definitely brings the heat in this department. I mean, only 3% of folks that apply to their platform get accepted, so you're truly dealing with the cream of the crop here. Anyone you hire on Toptal will provide amazing work no matter what niche you select, although it's important to note that only 6 specializations are available. You'll mostly find the engineering and design crowd over on Toptal. And while they're definitely the best of the best, they only need 2 years experience to get accepted. That's not nearly as much experience as I was expecting, though to be fair, Toptal's rigorous vetting process means that only exceptional freelancers can set up shop on their platform. So how does Upwork compare? Pretty favorably, I'd say. Like the vast majority of freelancers I engaged with on the platform had college degrees, and their work showed it. I even ran into a few people with master's degrees and even doctorates. So clearly Upwork provides a suitable environment for top-level professionals to make a few bucks. Off of the top of my head, I'd say that 3 out of 4 freelancers on Upwork had college degrees, and about 1 in 5 had postgraduate degrees. These advanced qualifications just go to show how Upwork has cultivated a sense of professionalism and work ethic on its platform. Pretty much everyone I spoke to on the platform was great at customer service, and they also provided a lot of samples for me to go through. When I received the work, I found it to be downright excellent. Every aspect of the project met my expectations, and the fact that Upwork's talent offers twice as many specializations as Toptal certainly didn't hurt either. After all, most projects that I work on require a pretty diverse set of skills. So it's great to have a platform that's able to cater to all of them so effectively. Toptal's definitely no slouch in this department. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that it's one of the best platforms I've used in terms of quality of work. But at the same time, Upwork's talent isn't all that far behind, and it's miles ahead of other platforms that connect you to freelancers. I'm thinking Toptal gets a 5 out of 5 here, and Upwork gets a 4 out of 5. Next up, I'm gonna break down the hiring process on each platform. This is a really important aspect of the user experience. Over on Upwork, you have two options. Either you can post a job and let the freelancers come to you, or you can go through freelancers' profiles and take a look at the kind of samples they provide. You can even buy entire project catalogs that contain the sort of work you're looking for. It beats having to wait for delivery for sure, especially if you're looking for some kind of content or graphic design based work. You also get the chance to interview your potential seller through a voice or video call, or just chat with them if that's what you prefer. Once I found someone I liked, we entered into a secure contract that included an NDA, which I felt was a nice touch. The payment was sent into an escrow account, and the seller only received it after I proved the work that they sent. All in all, I'd say it was a convenient, smooth experience that I had no trouble navigating at all. As for Toptal, I feel like their freelancer-focused business model doesn't allow for the same kind of experience. For starters, even making an account on the platform isn't a done deal. You have to submit an application and hope they accept it. After which, you give them a description of the type of job you're hiring for. Once I got through those steps, I still couldn't start looking for sellers. Instead, I had to wait for their team to recommend freelancers they thought I should hire. It was kind of annoying because I'd have preferred to go through my options myself, and while I liked a few of the options they gave, the $500 deposit had left a bad taste in my mouth. And I got even more frustrated when I realized that we started with a 2-week trial. It took ages for me to get the ball rolling, although I'll admit that the work I got was straight up fantastic. But despite that, it was so hard to find a freelancer in the first place. That's why I'm giving Toptal a 3 out of 5 for its hiring process. Upwork is a 5 out of 5 because hiring someone through them was an absolute piece of cake. I can now safely say that Upwork is my winner in this contest. A final score of 13 out of 15 really shows that Upwork has done its homework. It knows how to satisfy both clients and freelancers. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about Toptal. Its final score was 10 out of 15, which reflects its exceptional quality of talent as well as its opaque pricing policies and challenging hiring process. If things were easier to manage, Toptal would have been my pick with zero doubts. Give it a try if you don't mind the complications, but if you want an easier experience with comparable results, I say go for Upwork. Also, if you haven't signed up for Upwork yet, you can use the link down below to get $50 applied to your account when you make your first hire. So let me know what you think. Will you give Upwork or Toptal a try? Tell me about your experience if you do. That's all I have for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.